Hoping and praying is not a plan. It is worse than giving up. You're not going to bet your future on buying lottery tickets and thinking that you are going to make a career out of buying lottery tickets, because you don't know when you're going to win and when you're going to lose, and you don't know how much you're going to win or when you're going to win this much next time or more, because you're scratching these tickets and you get this group of numbers and you're just waiting in anticipation during time of the lottery draw. You just don't know if you're going to win. And I don't think that's a way to live. How do you bet your future on lottery tickets? Which is one of the reasons why I get turned off by them, is because it feels like a cop-out. Like you're giving up. But it's even worse because you're spending money on giving up. And you are handing over the keys to your future, one ticket at a time. I don't do lotteries very much, nor do I remember doing them. It's kind of like playing bingo, except you win money, but you have to pay money first to actually participate in the game. And so whatever you have to give, be it money or time or energy, it's not a good idea to put all your chips in one basket if that basket is lottery tickets or something of the like. Something else maybe that could feel like you're playing the lottery all the time, and you don't know how much money you're going to make or how long you have to wait until you make that much again, but you still have to pay money to play. Happy Chinese New Year's, guys. A lot of people are buying lottery tickets now, I think. They're hoping to win big and be lucky this year. Chinese New Year's, man, it's the busiest time of the year in Taiwan. The traffic is crazy. There's cars and scooters everywhere. You can't get anywhere without getting stuck in traffic, even if it's 1 minute away, which is really infuriating because it's like, I'm just trying to go to 7-Eleven or I'm trying to go somewhere close. And there's like, the whole street is full of scooters and cars, and like, I don't even know where they came from. Because no one's coming to Tainan to play, are they? Maybe they are here to eat, but are the restaurants open? And if they're open, then is there room for you? A lot of people come here as a tourist attraction from all parts of the world and from all parts of Taiwan. I'm guessing more along the lines of all parts of Taiwan, because I don't see that many foreigners here. But I do see a lot of Taiwanese here from other cities, and they're here to eat, they're here to drink, they're here to enjoy the culinary experience of Tainan, which it is a very good experience, and I highly recommend it. This very affordable food at a great price, and the food is nothing short of delicious. It's so good. And they're open all times of the day. You have certain vendors who open like 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning. Some of them sell out by 10 in the morning. And then you have other restaurants that open at 10. and they go until dinner time. And then after that, there are, I mean, fusion of all kinds of different Thai food, Korean, Japanese. But the Taiwanese food is what really stands out, and what really shines is the street food, the traditional food. And in Chinese, they call it 小吃. So I was actually not going to make a video today. I was charging my battery and it was at like 70%. And I'm like, do I really want to wait until it reaches 100% battery? And it's already 11:11 p.m. It is February 14th. So happy Valentine's Day. I mean, this is a huge holiday, you know? 2 holidays in one day, man. And I hope you had a good Valentine's. I hope you found your significant other or someone to spend the Valentine's Day with. If you're alone, I hope you found it in friends and or family. If you have a boyfriend or girlfriend or wife or husband or a family, I hope you guys had a very special time. And Valentine's Day really is a day of celebrating love and companionship. And Chinese New Year's is the same thing, like love and companionship, but it's more family oriented. So you have like the hongbaos and the red envelopes. I remember getting red envelopes when I was young, when I was a kid. You know, being Chinese, being in Taiwan especially, you know, if you're single, and you know, or if you're not married yet, like if you have a boyfriend or girlfriend and you're not married yet and you're in your 20s, you will still get red envelopes. Even into your 30s, maybe. I mean, or maybe early 30s. But it's really rare for people to be unmarried by the time they're in their middle 30s in Taiwan. Like usually you're married, you know, you have a family, and yeah, I mean, once you're married, then you stop receiving red envelopes. But before, yes, everyone gets red envelopes. Teenagers. I remember like being really blessed and having a lot of red envelopes when I was younger, and I was just a really lucky kid growing up. You know, I had a lot of family members. I still do. I cherish them. I see them every now and then, but the busyness of life and the urgency of not having enough time to create the content I want to make, maybe be at a higher follower count that I'm currently at. The hustle is real, man, and it's difficult to always have to keep up. And finding a stable way of doing things, I think, is the hardest part, because even though I have like 24/7, all the free time in the world, it's a blessing and a curse. You know, I could wake up anytime, I can go to sleep anytime I want to. I'm not really in a rush to do anything or go anywhere, but in a way, that is not always a good thing if you're going through, or if I'm going through something difficult. You know, it's very easy to kind of get lost in my own thoughts, in my head, and being alone, editing the videos, shooting them, writing them, scrolling my phone, looking for inspiration, finding ideas from other content creators. I end up watching hundreds of videos a day, probably. I mean, and always having to find somewhere to write down my thoughts and having to put them into motion. It's very easy to not be able to fix the problems and be frustrated over it the whole day and night while having all the time in the world. So it's like knowing what to fix in order to get the wheels on the tracks again is extremely difficult. And when you're alone and you are thinking about what videos to do, it's probably one of the biggest challenges, is like knowing what to change. It's like, who are you at the end of the day? Like, how many things are you? Maybe I'm one thing to someone else. Look, I am working on a couple of brands, and each brand seems to cater to somebody who would not like another brand that I'm working on. So it's like the juggling act of that, yeah. It is 11:17. I hope to finish this by midnight, but I do want to have this up before I sleep tonight, because I kind of made a commitment to myself just to, like, hey, let's stick with this. This account really is for me to unwind and just share whatever is on my mind. My kids can look back on this if, anything occurs. But hoping and praying is not a plan. It's Chinese New Year's. Everyone's hoping and praying for more money. Everyone's hoping and praying that their New Year resolution can become fulfilled by the end of this year. I think it's a crazy time of the year. The actual New Year's passed. Now it's Chinese New Year's, and it's Valentine's Day. Yeah. So a lot's happening in Taiwan right now. Everyone's trying to get here and there, and just trying to forget their lives for 5 to 7 days, or however long their vacation is. It's usually around that time. 5 to 7 day vacation. It's like some people have longer vacations, I think. Longest vacations in Taiwan, I think, year round. And, of course, you have Zhongqiujie, Mid-Autumn Festival, but that's in the fall. And then I think you have more holidays coming up soon. But a lot of the holidays are squeezed together around this time. Hoping and praying. So, people are hoping and praying for good luck. That's why the color red is so prevalent. They want more money. They want to support their families. And, they want to get out of debt. They want to save money so they can go on vacation to this place, or they want to buy a PS5. They want to buy this video game or that one, and it's not a plan. And hoping and praying could be worse than giving up sometimes, because if you give up, you are relinquishing responsibility to yourself and others, to God and to the universe. But if you hope and pray, then you are handing off your responsibility to yourself, your family, and your God universe to someone else or something else. So the first one is just giving up completely, just gone, no one carries anything, and then you just kind of forget about it, right? Or you try to. But the latter is you don't forget about it, you just have someone else lead it, dude. And that is just gambling. That's just playing the lottery, right? It's the same thing. You're handing over your fate to someone else or something else or some other force in the universe. And so you cannot trust that. You cannot trust. There are certain things you cannot trust anyone. That certain things you must keep to yourself. And certain thoughts, ideas, You have to keep it to yourself sometimes. And other things you can trust to people, of course. I trust my maid if I have someone coming clean for the day. I would trust my nanny if someone came in to care of my kids. Like, I trust them because trust is built, right? And you learn to trust through experience. And you experience through trial and error, seeing if something works or doesn't. And then you keep adjusting it until it works, and then you can trust it. And the more you do that, the more you adjust, the more you pivot, the more trust you're able to give whatever it is you're handing that off to. So you just can't trust the lottery if you're depending on that for your future. Like, it's not good to hand off to that. And you don't it's really ironic how you cannot trust the lottery the more you hand off. The more tickets you buy, the more you're handing off your responsibilities, but the more you do that, the more you don't trust it more. Like, you don't trust the lottery more. So it's different than hiring somebody or working with somebody and kind of like trying to find a rhythm and a flow in terms of like working together. And the more you wiggle waggle and weave through this terrain, the more you can trust that person or that thing. But when it comes to the lottery tickets, it's like, dude, there's none of that. Like, you don't trust it more. It's just what it is. Gambling with the livelihoods of yourself and your loved ones. I haven't had a gambling issue. I mean, every person has their vices and things that they have a hard time kicking. It's interesting, isn't it? Addiction. I remember when I got addicted to a video game, 7 Days to Die, a while ago. I think like 2 years ago, maybe less. I was addicted to that game. I have 1,000 hours in it. And there were days when I just wouldn't eat, man. Maybe like have a bite or just not eat at all. And I was just playing that game. I didn't even remember to eat because I was having so much fun. And I don't get addicted to video games like that much. Maybe like there's 7 Days to Die and then there's Arc Raiders. But I don't mind spending that much time. I have over 400 hours in Arc Raiders. I think it's a good use of my time. As long as I'm having fun. Because I like it. I mean, if I drop dead just doing anything, I would rather be dropping dead while I'm playing video games than dropping dead doing something boring or something that I don't like. So I like to have fun. I still put out content. I don't remember how much when I'm really into the game, but it's like equilibrium. It kind of swings back like a pendulum the other way. And certain days I just post so much, and then I'll go through long stretches where I don't post at all. Yeah, so hoping and praying, planning, lottery tickets, Chinese New Year's, giving up. I'm still working through my resolutions and writing it, and dude, January's already over, February's almost over. So it's really funny how some people they have, they write or they plan their resolutions and they start it on January 1st. And here I am, like a month and a half later, still writing mine. Still thinking of mine. Like I think about it a lot, like what my resolutions are, because I don't want to go head first if I'm not sure what it is I'm resolving. Because really, it's just, resolutions are just resolving issues, your current, problems you have right now, and you're trying to fix them, right? By the end of next year, only to have a new problem to fix. It's like a never-ending cycle of fixing problems and having problems. And when it comes to trusting, you're really the only person that you can trust, because you're the only person who can guarantee that you will be there for yourself. Whether or not you're happy or sad, whether or not you want to be with yourself or not, you cannot not be with yourself. So you are the only person you can trust, because you are the closest person to yourself. Other people can love you, be your companion, and be really close with you in every way possible. But at the end of the day, if you are alone, then no one knows what you're thinking but you. No one is there but you. And no one is with you but you. So you are the only person you can trust. You can depend on people, and trusting and depending are different things. I can trust you, but it doesn't mean that I will depend on you. I can depend on you, but it doesn't mean that I trust you. Let me give you an example. So let's say I trust. Okay, this is not real. This is an imaginary example, okay? Let's say I'm a teacher. I trust that my students will be in the classroom, but I cannot depend. Now I don't know what I'm saying, but I'm sure you know what I'm saying when it comes to trusting and depending. Because they're kind of similar, but they're kind of different. So when you trust someone but not depend on them, I'm trying to work it in my head, like, they have certain habits and you cannot expect them to be able to do certain things for you if you ask them to. And you know that you will be disappointed if you depend on them to do it. So I guess they're kind of synonymous, aren't they? Trust and dependence. Because usually when I say trust, like, hey, I trust you, like, I know your motivations are pure. I know your intentions are good. I know that if I ask you to walk the dog, I can trust that you want to, and I'm not doubting that you're not willing to. I'm just doubting in your ability to walk my dogs. Maybe I saw you skip a day or two before. Maybe you didn't really walk them. You just came over and said hi to the dogs, and you forgot to walk them. You just left. So I trust you because you're my friend or whatever, but I cannot depend on you. So I guess they're kind of different. And so, like my kids, for example, like, if I tell my son to look after my daughter, like I trust him when he says, okay, I will look after her. But I cannot always depend on him because maybe they get into an argument. And then what? You know, or speaking of kids, I am so happy to have 2 kids. I'm very lucky. Kids are the best, and nothing beats them. Man, water tastes so good, especially at night. So having kids is better than not having kids. And I trust people who have kids more than people who don't have kids. I relate to them more. I tend to seek out those kinds of people. Because it's hard to explain, like hanging out with someone who doesn't have kids. Like, what do their priorities look like, right? What are they expecting to do today? Like, what do they have on their plate? And I think, in a sense, like, we're expected to get married. Oh my gosh, I'm getting tired. Like, we're expected to get married, like, really early in life. I'd say early 20s to mid 20s. I think that's common. When people say, hey, you're too young to get married, usually they're like in their late teens, almost 20. And then when you are in your late 20s and you're not married, they're like, yo, we gotta find you a girlfriend. Or they say, you should focus on your career. So it splits into those 2 camps. And then when you hit 30 and you still don't have a family, kids, a wife or husband or whatever, then they'll start saying, hey, we gotta talk, man. We gotta look for someone for you. What kind of girls do you like? What kind of guys do you like? They might try to set you up with one. And then when you hit 35, right, and you still don't have kids, it's like, yo, hurry up and have kids. You're getting older. And then when you hit 40, it's like, yeah, you're expected to already be a father or mother and have kids. Because look, if you're a mother and you're 40 with no kids, you're not a mother, right? You're just a woman who is a wife who is not having children. I don't know, man. Like, fertility is a woman's thing. It's a woman's blessing to be fertile. It's a man's blessing to be tough inside. They call it grit. Women have a different kind of grit. To be a woman, they have a different set of pressures that we don't have, but we have a different set of pressures that they don't have. So for a guy, the amount of importance that we have to the people we love and the people who love us, it is depending on our ability to provide for people we love and provide for ourselves. So making money and knowing how to use that money, it's very important for a man. And making the money is the most important. How to use that money, sometimes husbands have help, right, with their finances from their wife or their family. But it's a skill that they need to learn too, because when they're single, like, they have to learn how to manage their money. And when you're married, it becomes all the more important, because then you are dealing with children. And I suspect if you are married, you would want to have children eventually, which means you're going to have to think about what you need to get them later on in their lives. Like, it's a huge investment. It's possibly the most valuable investment you're ever going to make is your children. Like, my children are so important to me. They are everything to me. They're more important than money. All the money in the world, would not be enough to buy my children. Like, they are me and I am them. They're a part of me. Like my fingers and my feet. They are a part of me. And having to learn how to manage money, like, you got to think about, like, hey, how much does their school cost when they're 5, when they're 10, when they're 15, when they're 20? Having kids is better than not having kids. But when I did not have kids, I still found the meaningfulness in hobbies and interests. And that is the most important thing about not having kids. Because I'm not saying that, like, one is necessarily better in the same standard as another, because you cannot use that same measurement stick to compare having kids and not having kids, because it is very different. It is like a butterfly shedding its cocoon. It once was a caterpillar. When you're single, you're the caterpillar. When you are getting married or finding a spouse, you are in the cocoon. And then when you become a father, you break out of the cocoon and now you are a butterfly. It's like you're not even the same thing anymore. You are not what you once was. And that's beautiful. Caterpillars are beautiful. Butterflies are beautiful. And there's nothing wrong with being either one. But I don't know if a caterpillar wants to be a caterpillar its whole life, or if it's meant to be a caterpillar its whole life. And the best part about being single is figuring out what you like and what you don't like. Figuring out what you love and hate, what your hobbies are, what you're curious about, what your interests are, what you love to do by yourself, what audiobooks you like to listen to, hard or soft cover fictions, magazines, manga, comics you flip through. Maybe you like to rap. Maybe you like listening to music, painting, drawing, pictures. That's really important, man, because that's I would say equally important as having kids, is figuring out what you are meant to do. It's funny because as you get older, you change, and what once was you meant to do something could become hey, you meaning to be or do something else. I realized that, like, I turned on the camera, I wanted to do social media, and I had a reason to do it because I wanted to be an actor, a screen actor. And then my dreams changed because I'm really satisfied with my life and where things are and with just doing what I'm doing now in front of the camera. Like, I didn't have to be a screen actor to love what I'm doing. And that's what I'm lucky that I figured that out before having my first kid. But after I had my children, it's like the dream gradually, it didn't die, it just transmuted and transformed into another being or entity. And now the dream takes another shape. I still would love to act and direct something awesome. But I don't know, man. It's like the act of doing it is not even the same anymore as before because artificial intelligence is really, really great. Like, I like podcasting too. I like talking. I like listening to people and what they have to say and getting ideas. Like, when I was young, I used to watch a lot of television. Like, you could say I'm like a TV kid, you know. I'd come home, I'd watch some BET, MTV, and I believe that was when I was in love with like rap. And I would always rap with the music videos, word for word, learn the lyrics. And I miss those days, you know. I still remember those days. Not necessarily what I saw, but how I felt more than what I saw. I used to come home and watch like these cartoons when I was in middle school. Oh man, the golden years, the wonder years, when the sense of wonder was just in bloom and it was like a garden of the mind, you know. Everything was young and growing, and now I have reached the pinnacle of my growing years, and I am now in the prime of my life, in the most rich version of myself I either was and am gradually not, or am peaking and am gradually fading into the wind until one day my son will be older, my daughter will be older, and they can watch videos like this and understand what their father was like. I really hope so. And maybe they have children of their own and their kids can see videos of me and see, hey, this is my grandfather. This is what Grandpa was like. You know, Grandpa Teddy. Right now, I'm Uncle Teddy. Unc. UNC. And I'm proud of being older. And it's one of the blessings of being older is being able to just sit down like this, look at you guys, and just, I can talk forever. Unless you stop me, or unless the camera dies, or unless I have to sleep. Ooh, that's good. So I might play an episode of Arc Raiders after this. A mission, not an episode. because I have to import this video into my Filmora editor, and then I have to trim the edges because, that's really all I trim in these videos. I don't really do any editing. I just raw dog reality. And it's a good time of the year. Every time I feel sad or upset, I tell myself to wait a year and things will get better, and they always do. And I heard someone say that before, and that's why self-help is really important, because I didn't have a dad. He died when I was around 4. And I always looked for mentors and people to lead me and guide me in the right direction. And I felt lost for a lot of my life. And the only thing that I can really rely on is God. And the private and personal space that I have created for myself and God is the most, I think it's even more important than, when I say it, I mean your personal relationship with God. I think it's more important than everything. Even everything I mentioned that was the most important. But I don't like to say that because they're important to me. But without God, would I have those things? It is God who brought me into the world through my mother. It is God who has saved me from sickness and death and catastrophe and accidents throughout my life. I'm lucky, man. And I'm still blown away by my children and watching them grow up, and oh man, they're looking more and more like me, or they're acting more and more like me. But I have a lot to learn, not just being a father, but being a husband, but being a son, being a freelancer, being a content creator, being Teddy Wang. And it's so quiet, man. It's like 11:49. I would expect there to be fireworks, because I think in Chinese New Year's, a lot of people set firecrackers, fireworks around the city, and usually around this time you could hear them, even at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. Sometimes you hear them, and I mean, okay, to each his own, I guess. And it's, I guess, times like these where I like to think alone. And I'm starting to understand people who like to sit in the dark by themselves in a random room at night, really late. And it's like pitch black, and they're just thinking. I think that's understandable the older I get. My doggy is sneezing. But she's fine. I think she's resting and sleeping. I'm getting tired. But hey, I promised I'm going to put out a video today. And I find that when you make promises, the hardest part is just showing up and being here and saying hi. At least I'm here. And I hope you guys have a good night.